Scorpio, welcome to your weekly horoscope for April 20th to the 26th, 2026. My name's Adeana. I'm an intuitive astrologer. Scorpio, this week is about recalibration and not just on the surface, but in the systems, habits, and relationships that quietly run your life. What you do every day, how you show up, how you give your energy, all of it is under review because the reality is your next level requires a different structure. And this week begins that shift. So on April 20th, we start the week off with a powerful and pressurized activation in your sixth house of work, routines, health, and daily responsibilities. We have Mercury forming a conjunction to both Mars and Saturn in Aries, while we are still very much in the Mars Saturn conjunction energy that we had on April 19th. This is pressure in your day to day life. This is great for discipline. This could be you getting really serious about your habits, your time, your productivity, and your physical well being. You may even feel called to restructure your routine, take on more responsibility, or address something that requires consistency and effort. This is where you build your strength, Scorpio. However, you do have to watch for burnout, irritation, or even feeling overwhelmed by everything that you have to do at this time. You may feel constant pressure or like there's no room to breathe. So, this is your cue to simplify. Not everything is urgent, not everything deserves your attention. So, you need to prioritize what actually matters and then let the rest go. Then we get to April 23rd and we have a huge activation in your seventh house of relationships, partnerships, and one on one connections. We have Venus forming the last and final conjunction to Uranus in Taurus because this week Uranus is going to enter Gemini, which we will get into just in a few minutes. But Venus is the dispositor of Taurus. And so this is quite potent. This is breakthrough moments within connections, relationships, partnerships. This could bring exciting changes within relationships, new connections, maybe renewed energy in existing partnerships, or even realizations about what you truly want within a partner. You may feel drawn to something different or something more authentic or something less predictable. This is liberation within your partnerships and relationships. However, you do have to watch for instability, sudden changes in relationships, unexpected shifts that feel out of your control. Something may change very quickly at this time, but it's revealing truth. You also need to ask yourself, am I in this connection because it aligns with who I am now or who I used to be? Because you are not the same person, Scorpio. You've been going through a lot of changes in personal evolution, and your relationships need to reflect that. Then we get to April 24th, and we have Venus moving into your eighth house of intimacy, shared resources, and emotional depth. The energy becomes more intense, but also more meaningful at this time. This could bring deeper connections. This is emotional bonding, vulnerability, and transformation within relationships. You may feel more open to sharing, to trusting, or even merging your energy with someone in a deeper way. This is where real intimacy can take place. However, you do have to watch for jealousy or control dynamics and fear of vulnerability. You cannot experience true connection while trying to control the outcome. You need to let yourself be seen, even if it feels uncomfortable. Then we get to April 25th, and this is where everything begins to shift for the next 8 years because we have Uranus entering Gemini. And this is going to be an 8-year transit of changes around intimacy, shared finances, and emotional depth. So, this is quite profound, Scorpio. Your relationship to trust, vulnerability, and shared resources is all about to evolve over the next 8 years. This can bring breakthroughs in how you connect with others, how you manage shared finances, and how you process emotional experiences. You may actually become more open, more curious, or even more willing to explore different ways of relating to others. This is transformation at its deepest level because it's that eighth house of deep psychological, emotional, and intimate transformation on all those levels. However, you do have to watch for emotional unpredictability instability in shared finances, or even difficulty trusting the process, you do need to try to stay grounded the best as possible throughout this transit. Then we get to April 25th, and we have the sun in your seventh house forming a square to Pluto in your fourth house of home, family, and emotional foundation. This is where tension arises between your relationships and your inner world. There may be power dynamics within your home or family life that are affecting your relationships in some way, or even vice versa. You may feel like something deeper is being triggered, something rooted in your past. This could be very healing, or even you becoming aware of patterns and choosing to break them. But you do have to watch for control or emotional defensiveness, or reacting from old wounds instead of present truth. So you need to pause before reacting. Not everything is about the past, but your reactions might be. Then we get to April 26th, and we have Mercury in your sixth house squaring Jupiter in your ninth house of beliefs and expansion. This creates tension between your daily reality and the bigger picture. You may feel like you have big ideas, big goals, but your current routine doesn't support them. So you may also feel like really overwhelmed trying to balance everything at once. This can be great for adjustments, or you finding ways to align your daily habits with your long term vision. But you do have to watch for overcommitting, trying to do too much at once, burning yourself out in the process. You need to pace yourself. Then also on that same day, we have Venus in your eighth house forming a sextile to Neptune in your sixth house. This is healing through connection. This is where vulnerability meets compassion. This is where you begin to soften, to trust, to allow yourself to experience emotional depth without fear. This is where things begin to feel safe again internally. Scorpio, this week is about transformation in the way you live, love, and give your energy. You're being asked to release control, to trust the process, and to align your daily life with the deeper truth of who you are becoming. And while that may feel intense, it is necessary, because this is not just about change, this is about evolution at your core. Scorpio, you are officially in your transformation season.